For the workshop, I have a form of dust collection. It's about the cheapest way you can do it other than a dustpan and brush. It's a shop vac. It's a wet and dry. It's been used that we can suck up, leaks in the house before we've had. And then with a bag, you can suck up sawdust. However, I really resent the fact that you have to change the bags when, modern day Dysons and things like that is all contained within the cylinder there. So, a friend of mine, who is a kitchen fitter, recommended a Cyclone system. Now, the concept is quite simple. By all accounts, you strap this to the top of a bucket, a form of, way of storing the sawdust. You have one hose connected here, the other at the top. Comes from the Hoover. It sucks, and it dispenses the sawdust into the container. Hopefully that should make life a lot easier disposing of the sawdust. You don't have to buy bags, and it will prolong the life of the shop vac filter. For the life of me, I couldn't find a container with a lockable airtight lid anywhere. And I didn't want to have to pay the £25-30 plus on Amazon for one of those blue barrel stylies. So what I've got is a plasterer's bucket, and I think we're going to have to try and see if we can make a lid or something to go on the top on the table saw. It's circular, so I think we're going to have to make a jig on the table saw sled to see if we can cut a perfect circle. Right, so since the last clip, I had to go in, no duties, time ran away with me. It's a new day. I thought I was going to be able to do this, within a quick half an hour. But it's surprising, just how long it takes when it's filming. It seems to really slow things down. Okay, the inside diameter of the bucket is 320. So if we half that to be about 160, and we go a smidge over just so it's going to be a nice snug fit. I've got a piece of 12mm MDF. If we kind of go out 160 from the centre point, let me give it a little marking. And then we know that this piece is going to be easily big enough for the inside of the bucket there. I'm going to drill a hole in the middle and then drill a hole into the sled. At the end of the day, this is a working tool. It's not going to matter if it has a hole. And then what we're going to try, because I tried this off screen and I tried just sinking a screw through the MDF and into the sled and then doing the turning method onto the sled. However, as I was turning, it was starting to ride up the screw and come off the table saw sled, causing it to pivot a bit, and not giving an accurate cut. So I'm going to drill through the MDF, drill through the sled, and then take the drill bit out of the drill and use that as kind of a pin to keep it in place. It will go into the MDF, into the sled, and it will help it turn freely. So I'll put you onto a bit of time lapse and hopefully it's successful. Right, this dust extraction can't come soon enough. MDF is disgusting. But the plan totally worked. I have got a perfect circle to fit in there. Now, one thing I did have to do, which I'm not going to show you because it's wedged in there at the minute, is I had to bring out the router table, and I got it pretty close, but I wasn't brave enough to move that pin, you know, ever so slightly further closer to the blade, because I thought then I was going to cut too much and it just would then be way too small. So I took it over to the router table and I put an ever so slight chamfer round over on the underside of it, and then it really does just push in snug. So we have this bit. We then have another circle, which I cut the other day. Now that was using the screw, and as you can see, there's some flat edges on that where it wasn't perfect. It was riding up because it was on a screw, but this was the lid. So this top bit wasn't quite as important. It was always going to be the inside one that had to be correct. So I'm going to glue and screw these two together. This is the top part of the lid to make it a bit more stable, but also to help with the airtightness. So this one goes over the lip, and then the other one goes within the circle. So I'm going to glue and screw, and then because we've already got the holes, and those holes will marry up, we will then cut a circular hole, a hole with the diameter of the Cyclone. I think then we might even do a blob of silicone. I don't think it's going to need it, but it doesn't hurt. A blob of silicone, and then we are pretty much there. And fingers crossed, we can hoover up all of this crap and no more bags. Fingers crossed. Now that the hole's drilled, I can put this on. Now, I think I am going to need to use silicone, because if I get you down to this angle, it doesn't sit perfectly. See that little air gap there? It doesn't sit perfectly against it. So having silicone will make it nice and airtight. Now, I can't find washers anywhere, so I think I'm going to have to use screws. Luckily, the head I don't think will get sucked through, and this plastic's quite thick, so I don't think it's going to be, damaged in any way. And with the silicone, it doesn't need to be pulled too tight because it'll have that extra barrier there. So I'll apply the silicone, secure the cylinder, and fingers crossed we will then be ready to give this a try. Here she is. Okay, so we have the cylinder mounted on the top. We have one hose coming out the top, and then that goes into the wet and dry hoover. We have another hose off the side, and this is the one that's going to be the dust collection, or the main sucky hose. Now, of course, every hose has its own diameter, and it didn't fit the cylinder. So, a bit more silicone and some trusty duct tape, and we have a semi-airtight fit. My shop vac that I've been using, I think I paid, it was on offer at the time, so it was $29.99 or something, reduced from 40, so it wasn't expensive to begin with. You would not believe actually how powerful it is. Now these plasterers buckets are quite rigid, but even with the vac turned on, I found it was sucking the bucket in. It was powerful enough to suck in and almost collapse the bucket. So I'll show you that now. You've got to excuse the noise. You see that? Okay, and if we open the lid, well, that's surprising. It wasn't performing quite that well in my previous tests, but as you can see, it's certainly collecting in there. Now the real test is what's inside here. And as you can see, it's pretty much the same amount that was before. So with this Hoover, I know that if there's not a bag in there, it will suck in, it will circulate in, and then it will kick out the back. So I'm pretty confident that what I've got in there is the same amount I've sucked up. And yeah, ultimately, I'm not using a bag. So there you have it. We have dust extraction on a budget, no more bags, and it was quite an enjoyable project, to be fair, and it didn't take too long. Always remember to like and subscribe. I'm sorry for the lack of videos. Hopefully we should be pumping out some more soon. We have got some transporter videos coming up. If you like my videos, like them, and always remember to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but it shows your support. Have a good day.